Hey everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome to part 12 of my Corpse Party Book of Shadows Let's Play. In the last episode, we had a pretty tragic ending for the last chapter with Yuya. Unfortunately, her good nature, her friendliness, it ended up backfiring on her. You know, she managed to escape so many times from the clutches of bad people wanting to hurt her. And then she met up with Sachiko, and she wanted to be a good big sister and help Sachiko, and then Sachiko just, of course, screwed her over in just the most brutal way. So we are going to be doing, I believe, the last chapter. So, so far, no good endings for anybody. I was hoping that, like, this game was going to be, you know, kind of the redemption for these characters. They were going to get a good end. But so far not the case, so I'm excited to see what this last chapter has in store for us, who we are going to take control of, so only one way to find out. Let's go ahead and let's check it out. And the episode is called Tooth, so already, like, that, it brings up not so great images. Reuniting Senior High School, Student Council Room, 4:30 p.m. Okay, so this is back to... yeah. Okay, so, surprisingly, well, I'm sure that we're gonna be jumping back and forth between these guys and, like, our group. But still, I'm like, damn. Okay, so are we gonna get some more backstory into, Kazuma? Oh my gosh, why do I always forget his name? Kazuma? Yuya Kazumi, I believe is his name.
Nani ga da? Keri irete ii? Kyakka, nani ga arun da, shita?こら! 生徒会室で暴力行為は禁則と定めだろう。知るもんか。忘れてる方が悪いもん。やめなきゃ。こちらに非があるなら謝罪する。まず聞こうじゃないか。この部屋の徹底掃除だよ。見てこれ。何これ。片付けろっつうの。何この玉。玉入れのやつじゃん。体育祭いつだったよ。ああ。そういえばそんなことを言っていたか。一体忘れてたでしょ。いや、記憶はしていた。僕も美月の意向には普通に喋れ。ああ、忘れてたさ。俺だっていろいろ考えることがあって忙しかったんだよ。会長だからって何でもかんでもみんな俺んとこ持ってくるしさ。悪かったな。うん、許す。なんだえ？初期としての進言です。たまには言い訳くらいした方がいいよ。男らしい生徒会長もかっこいいけどさ。美月。だが戦線離脱は許さないからな。逃げられると思うなよ。わかった。わかんねえやつだなともひが。リンコは俺の嫁だっつってんだろ。いや、譲らないぞ。涼介にはナナさんって人がいるだろ。二股とかマジないわ。バカ。3人からモテて初めてリア充だろ。上皇。楽しそうだね、それ。ゲーム？おお、山本。お前もやる？タッチペンでグリグリしてチューするゲーム。女の子3人と付き合えるぜ。
Okay, I thought they were talking about Nana like the actual girl, but wait, that's a different school. Nana was from a different school.
何？ハマるのはいいけど、一人に絞れ。言って。あんたら、明日のこと覚えてるんだろうね。ん？何でしたっけ？
I had no idea any of this was going on in the student council room that day. I had other things on my mind, specifically a certain boy. Reuniting Senior High School, Class 2-4 after school. So is this when they're going to be doing the Sachiko Ever After charm, and how that all ended up happening? My name is Toko Kurosaki. I'd been waffling for quite some time on whether or not to say anything, but finally I decided to bite the bullet and ask his best friend, Kurosaki. Oh yes, Yuya. Right.
Oh yeah?
あいつ今フリーだと思うよ。
And that's the sad thing. So Kurosaki said, like, they make it seem like Kurosaki is Yuya's, like, best friend, and then he ended up stabbing the poor guy.
狙っちゃおっかななんて。
マジ？おお、いいじゃん、応援するよ。
But he's kind of a psycho.
でもあいつな女の子といてもいっつもつまんなそうにしてるから付き合えても切り裂きがあんまり楽しくないかもしれない。
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
でも確かにゆうやってモテる割に手とか全然出してこないって女子はみんな言ってるな。
それって悪い印象？
Yeah.
クリーンなイメージ。
A nice... I guess there's, like, the appeal to, like, the, you know, the popular kind of bad boy who's, like, hasn't found the right girl. It's like, maybe I could be the right girl, and then you're just gonna get murdered.
Oh.
This was Kensuke Kurosaki, who'd known Yuya Kazami, aka the boy I liked, pretty much all his life. I figured I'd come to him for all the information I needed at my conquest, since he was pretty much guaranteed to know Yuya's dating history. And so far, things seem to be going really well. I mean, not only did I confirm Yuya wasn't seeing anyone, but I got his best friend's blessing, too. And confirmed that he really wasn't the showy, obnoxious cool guy type. Hee hee, that suited me just fine.
Kurosaki! Kora!
Kurosaki was understandably rather startled by the extraordinarily agitated female voice that suddenly rang out from behind his head. But that's Hellgirl Mitsuki for you. Heh. She was standing in the classroom doorway, arms folded across her chest, looking like some angry deity about to cast judgment down upon the world. And she had that deathly gleam in her eyes, the one that could fell the mightiest warrior before he even had a chance to draw his sword.
今日は生徒会室の徹底掃除するから来なさいって言ったでしょ。
Well, wasn't she the one who Yuya said, like, she refused to show any signs of fear or scream or anything when he was killing everybody? She stood strong, so she's a tough girl.
いや、俺今日部活だって言ったじゃん。おい、フクロイな。
逆らうな。もう無理だ。
Yeah, this was definitely Hellgirl's work. All the complexion was gone from Fukuroi's face. He was the man with a demon on his back. Whip at the ready, fully prepared to bring divine judgment upon all who opposed her. He was right. It was easier just to give in.
面白そう。私も行く。おお、手は多いほど良いぞよ。
Mitsuki then grabbed the nape of Kurosaki's neck and began dragging him out of the room in a decidedly painful-looking manner. He was like a teary-eyed chick caught in the talons of a bird of prey, struggling in vain as he was being carried off to meet his grisly end.
俺生徒会じゃないのに。
I just loved watching those boys interact with Hellgirl Mitsuki. I couldn't wait to see more. I didn't even care if I had to clean in order to do it. I was a volunteer after all, so I was pretty much off the hook here. I could follow them at my own pace, no dragging for me. As soon as we left the classroom though, we ran into Yuya. Or rather, I did, as in I literally ran into him. I wasn't watching where I was going, and wound up slamming into him so hard that I fell over. Immediately, he reached out his hand to help me up and asked if I was alright. Now that's a white knight if I'd ever seen one. And that's the creepy thing, is there's people, guys and girls, like that. It's just they put off a very good front, a very good image to people, but you don't know what's going on in their head. They could just be complete psychopaths, and you'd never even know. What a fun evening this would be, I imagined. I imagined it ending with me lying in bed, dreaming of Yuya's perfect face inching ever closer to mine, but instead... Oh, okay. And here we go. Of course, we had to go into, you know, the bad part of this.
大丈夫、トコ。
Emmy and Toko.
いいよ。全部吐いちゃったら楽になるよ。
I'm trying to remember which was the one where the girls... It was like two girls and there was a guy and one girl I think killed the other girl. Or the guy, she killed the guy over the jealousy over the girl. It's hard to keep track of all of the names. I'm like, I don't think it was these girls, but you just get so many names thrown at you. Alright, episode 7, Tooth. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna meet their ends to Yuya, especially Toko, who's like has a crush on him. And he's probably gonna butter her up, get her close, and then kill her. Stall doors seem to be stuck and absolutely will not open anymore, but I was just in there. Maybe the lock somehow got jammed when I left. Even with the knob turned on at full blast, there's no water coming through these pipes anymore. It's a mirror, but it's too cloudy to make out much detail. Ooh, for some reason the air around the spot feels unnaturally chilled. It would probably be best to keep your distance. Ooh, did something like pop up in here? Can I get a bad end like immediately? Okay, I think it's time to go. Oh, here we go. Wow, this is starting soon. So they just walked out on Yuya's about to like kill them all. Or not. Okay, so something else happened and Yuya's just playing like, oh, I'm the good guy who's trying to help you out. I thought he had just like stabbed him or something. Oh. That's what Toko probably went to go in the bathroom to throw up about. It's like he lost part of his leg. We were in an old-fashioned, run-down, and probably condemned school building. None of us knew how we got here, nor even where here was. I just emerged from the girls' room with Emi after losing my lunch, where Yuya, Okawa, Katayama, and Shimada were waiting. The whole hallway was an absolute bloodbath after what had happened. Poor Katayama walked into some kind of booby trap and half of his right leg was lopped off from the knee down. It looked excruciating. How is somebody supposed to handle a situation like this? Why did this have to happen at all? This is what tagging along with Mitsuki and the others got me. I thought it was going to be a laugh riot, and at first it was great. We all went to the student council room where we met up with Katayama, Shimada, and Emi and started cleaning and goofing around. And then when we were done, Emi suggested we all try out this new charm she discovered on the internet. She's nuts for that kind of thing. This is the sad thing, I've said this multiple times. It's just high school kids just being goofy, doing a charm or something online. I'm sure a lot of people have done things like that, and it's just like, they don't deserve this. Well, Yuya's a psycho, and, you know, he probably feels right at home here. But, like, the rest of these guys, like, they're just normal kids. They don't deserve this. She took out this simple white paper doll, and we were all kind of fascinated. So, the moral of the story is, if anyone asks you to do any, like, cleaning or to do any, like, extracurricular stuff, just say no. So we did as we were instructed, and then suddenly, everything went dark. There was a violent shaking, and then we were here, in this old schoolhouse. No explanation. Yuya was so kind. You can always count on boys in times like these. Still, there was a potential problem with this course of action.
待って。でも今みたいな罠とかさ、あったら危ないよ。人を背負ってたらとっさに動けないし。だけど。だからまずは外までの道の安全を確保してから片山くんを連れに戻ってきた方がいいと思うんだ。
賛成だ。
そっか。
涼介、大丈夫だぞ。お前を置いてったりしない。な。
Okoa was in a state of absolute panic. He just kept muttering to himself at Kariyama's side. The two of them had always been extremely close. It's only natural he'd be worried, though his concern kind of bordered on obsession.
でも、じゃあ誰が行くの？通路を歩いてるだけでいきなり足が切り飛ばされるんだよ。
お前今玄関行こうっつったじゃねえか。行ってこいよ。
Wow, what a gentleman. Shimada practically spit his answer at her. I hate people like him. Sure, he had a pretty face. That's basically all he had, though. People like him pose as models in men's journals, but they're not good for much else. He got a lot of girls, too, but I'm not one of them. I could never get past his awful attitude. It's such a huge turn-off for me when guys act that way. She's like, I like to go for the cool and calm sociopaths instead. Not that I don't admire speaking with confidence and force. I try to do it myself whenever I can. But there's a difference between speaking forcefully and speaking in a way that belittles others. Shimada was basically just cold and uncaring. At least he's upfront about it, unlike Yuya.
俺も行こう。
Maybe he knows that she likes him, and he's like, she knows that he'll be more than happy, or she'll be happy for him to go with her and then get her alone and stabby stab, or whatever he's gonna do. What a difference. Like night and day, kind, thoughtful people like him don't make flippant remarks. They just man up and get stuff done. I was crushing on him harder than ever, because now, not only did I think he was both cool and hot, I had also gained a ton more respect for him.
大人数で行く必要はない。行くならあと一人くらいだ。どうする？
Dead silence. No volunteers, huh? Everybody just looked at one another, then looked away as if they were ashamed of themselves.
俺はどうしよう、涼介。寂しいよな。
He was frantically shifting his gaze from one person to another. I'd never seen him so on edge before. Finally, the silence was broken by a loud, shrill male voice. Definitely not whom I would have picked.
くそ、俺が言ってやるよ。お前はここにいろ。いいの？女子の桐崎さんが行くって言ってるのに。俺が行く。ヘタレはここで待ってろ。邪魔になる。わかった。俺は陽介についてるよ。頼む。
じゃあ行こう。急がないと片山マジで危ないし。
トウコ、気をつけてね。
うん。
Was I scared? You bet I was scared. But in a situation like this, everybody has to work together. And as long as I had any willpower left in me, I wasn't about to give up. Plus, it didn't hurt that Yuya was with me, so I knew everything was going to turn out just fine. Oh boy. Okay, so let's see here. So we want to find a way to the exit, but I always like to check out the classrooms first. It's a newly deceased corpse. Based on appearance and dress, she seems to have been female. How feel to be stabbed? How does it feel to be stabbed? The writing is partially erased, making it hard to interpret what it might have said. This door seems like it might just be openable. It's a bunch of dishes? They must have been propped against the door. There are wet, bloody prints all over them. It's a little disturbing. Okay, and then, okay, so that one I've already checked out. The door is closed up tight, it won't even budge. There are letters scratched into the corner of the blackboard, seemingly with fingernails. Do not trust them. They will betray you. The one who volunteered to go will betray you most severely. Oh, well, that must be talking about Yuya, because he volunteered to go with me to find an exit. I guess it's like, is it the ghost children that are warning me? The cabinet is locked. There appears to be numerous thick books inside. They have titles like The Truth of Ties and A Door Babble Enough to Kill You? What in the world could that last one possibly be about? There's absolutely no scenery outside this window, just pitch blackness, and the window itself isn't budging at all. It simply will not open no matter how much force is exerted upon it. Apparently looking out that window just raised my darkening, so that's cool. Let's see what we're at here so far. Oop, 22%. The words "kill before you're killed" are scribbled all over the school flyer. Nope, there's a large hole in the floor here. It's too big to jump over. Alright, so we're not going that way. So let's go to the lab. Izami's favorite place. Locked up tight. Looks like we'll have to try somewhere else. The word infirmary was written on the plate above the door. Somehow, the room just felt like it would be deserted. I was oddly confident about that. Not sure why I felt that way, to be honest, but for good measure I shouted, "Is anybody in there?" We still hadn't found Mitsuki after all. I didn't hear her call back, though, so really we had no business in this room whatsoever. Wait, is that a key sticking out of the lock? Who would have locked the door but left the key? What would be the point?
Oh, なんだこれ。扉に鍵刺さってるぜ。
何してんの？
中に化け物でもいたら大変だろ。出てこれないようにしてやった。
その鍵どうするのよ。
俺が持っとくよっと。危
ないな、投げないでよ。
キャッチうめえだろ。まだ高く投げられるぜ。
Oh boy. Well, that's a sign that he's gonna lose the key. I was gonna say, wouldn't we want to go into the infirmary and get something for that guy's leg, like some bandages or something? Or medicine, or painkillers, or anything? Pain in the ass. Shimada was such a pain in the ass. I really couldn't stand the guy. He's probably gonna, like, go down a floorboard or something and he's gonna lose it.
ここ天井高えな。よし。
Yep, there we go. Yep, he lost it. Good job, buddy.
どこ行った？まあいいや。知らね。
And now the infirmary was cut off from us if we needed it. Brilliant. I rushed over to the door, hopeful yet afraid, knowing it might not open, but praying this horrid place would show us at least a little mercy. Gingerly, I raised my hand and pushed on it, and it swung open without even the slightest hesitation. It seemed almost too easy. It does seem strange that it actually opened up. It was unnaturally dark outside, though, and the rain was coming down so hard that peeking my head out for just a moment left my uniform completely soaked. Shimada pushed past me, throwing the door open even wider with his usual lack of regard for anyone and anything around him. My clothes went from soaked to drenched in a matter of seconds. If I were to actually walk out into it, I feel like I'd drown.
なんだこりゃ。真っ暗だぞ。森？
ひどい雨。こんな中外に出て行ったら服びしょ濡れになりそう。
そりゃ見てみてえな。
Ah, boy.
けど外に出
I
られ
like
る
how
こ
she's
と
just
は分か
choosing
った
to
ね。
ignore that.
片山たち連れに戻ろう。
Ooh, in my ear.
ゆうや。
Despite our having found a way out, Yuya's demeanor hadn't changed a bit. He was standing back by the hall where he could watch over us while also keeping an eye out for anyone else who might happen by. The model of maturity. Or he's just seeing if anyone's going to be coming so he can kill these guys. We know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Shimada, on the other hand.
頑張れよ。俺はもう出るぞ。こんなわけわかんねえところ、とっとと出るに限るぜ。片山のところになんか戻らねえよ。
マジで言ってる？
あー、当たり前だバカ。脳なしから順番に死ぬようになってるんだよ。あんな奴らほっとけよ。はあ、
びっくり。いいんだこんなやつ。
よう、桐崎。お前も来いよ。
No. I was gonna say, she doesn't have very many good options here. She either goes with this guy or Yuya. I mean, Yuya's worse because I don't think this guy, he's a pervert and gross and an asshole, but I don't think he would murder her. The tone in his voice said it all. He'd hit the ultimate low. After abandoning his friends to save his own hide, he was now basically propositioning me.
お前には死んでほしくないんだ。前から大事に思ってたからさ。
An obviously rehearsed and truly sickening pickup line. He really was the slime ball to end all slime balls.
信じらんない。
At least he makes his,
こっち見んなよ。
I don't want to defend him, but at least he keeps his, everything's in the surface, I'll say. His intentions, he'll say them straight up. With Yuya, he's just you don't know what's going on in his head. We know, but but he gives off that air like he gives a damn about people and he wouldn't do anything to you. So it's that's scarier. I couldn't believe he had the nerve to pull something like this. I felt like that may have been the first time I'd ever truly yelled at someone. I was absolutely livid. And he wasn't even done. No, he still had plenty of salt left to throw into the wound. Oh my god. So typical. It's just hits on a girl, she rejects him, and then he's like, ah, you ugly anyway, I didn't want you. You're just making assumptions. Oh yeah, such a nice guy.
死ねえ。こいつマジ切れる。行こう、ゆうや。
My head was swimming. I was scared, I was angry, I was sad, every negative emotion brought to the forefront, and every positive emotion pushed away. I didn't look back. I just turned away from Shimada, walked over to Yuya's side, and continued past him into the hallway. Yuya had been watching all of this unfold from the other side of the room, and for a moment he just stood there, staring blankly at Shimada.
あ？何見てんだよ。消えろよ、能面野郎。
Oh. Shimada then drew a large knife from his bra- oh, okay, I thought it was gonna be Kazami who had the knife. Its tip struggled to glisten in the dull light of the room, but it did ultimately succeed. He began waving it around like some dumbass, probably thinking it made him look more menacing. The difference is, Kazami would actually use it. This guy just used it to make him look cool and look tough, but I don't think he would actually, stab anybody. I wonder if Kazami's gonna take it from him and be like, let me show you how to use that.
お前は本当に面白いな。
あいつ女10人くらいいるんだよ。信じられる？何が大事に思ってたよ。どんだけ女の子バカにしてんの。マジ許せない。
I was indignant. I was fuming. I just kept cursing and mumbling as I fast walked back to the third floor to meet up with the others. And all the while Yuya was keeping pace with me, saying nothing at all. Always the model of maturity, always even-tempered. He really was like a rock. Or maybe he found my mutterings annoying and was just keeping quiet so I'd do the same. Or maybe he's just waiting for the opportune time to, like, kill you. I know what's gonna happen. It's creepy. It's just like a shark. Or just some predator just waiting for the perfect moment. I didn't like that possibility one bit, so I mentally slapped myself on the cheek, forced positivity in my voice, and tried to engage him in cheery banter.
Yuya はその点誠実だよね。女の子傷つけたこと一回もないでしょ。超モテるのに悪い噂聞いたことないもん。ある意味すごいよ。
I looked him square in the eyes as if asking him, isn't that right? And for a moment his eyes did meet mine, but then they went right back to the hall. Was he not used to receiving compliments from women? That seemed hard to believe. What a cute, innocent response. Or he just, like, literally doesn't understand human emotions, so... He literally doesn't understand. I must have come across as bipolar to him or something. One second I'd try to lighten the mood with small talk or compliments, and then I'd start to feel scared of this school again, or angry at Shimada, or sad for Katayama. My mind just couldn't make up its mind on what to feel.
Mitsuki だよね、今の声。下の階だ。
Mitsuki's voice echoed up from above, or up from below, but our friends were waiting for us above. Ooh, am I gonna make a choice whether to go after her or not? For a moment, I wasn't sure which direction to go, but only for a moment. The fact is, our friends were very, very close. So close it would be foolish not to tell them what was going on before chasing after Mitsuki.
急ごう。エミや片山たち連れてみんなで下に行こうよ。
Yuya just nodded and began running up the stairs, and I was right behind him.
お待たせ。出口見つかったよ。さあ、みんな行こう。
Wonder if they're all dead already. Maybe that's well, I'm pretty sure Kazami's the one who ends up killing pretty much all of them. So I was just like, I doubt that they all got murdered while they were gone. I was out of breath, staring down at the ground and talking to what I assumed would be three very attentive friends. But then I looked up. They were all there, but there was no immediacy, no urgency on anyone's face. Emi and Okawa weren't even looking at me, nor at Yuya, but at Katayama. Oh, did he die already? Are we too late? They were fixated on his face, and each bore a sad, hopeless, empty expression, and they certainly weren't about to get moving. There was a general heaviness in the air. Something was very wrong. I gently reached out my hand and touched Emi's shoulder.
どうしたの？
こダメ。片山くんどんどん衰弱してる。
涼介喋らなくなったよ。どうしよう。涼介。
Emi's eyes were filled with tears. Okawa, too, was cradling Katayama's head and looked like he had been crying this whole time. His eyes were bright red and his nose was running. Yuya, still saying nothing, just walked over to Katayama's side and bent down and began examining his wound.
Yuya.
急いだ方がいい。
The four of us silently but unanimously agreed that our best course of action was to pick up Katayama and bring him out through the exit we discovered. And we had to be very, very quick about it, or he really would die. I could tell just by looking at him that his time was almost up.
木amiくん、背負える？
あ、背に乗せるのを手伝ってくれ。
I'm surprised that Kazami is still trying to help.
涼介
Maybe the darkening hasn't got to him just yet.
みんなが助けてくれるぞ。
As this was all going on, I had that nagging feeling like I was forgetting something. Oh, of course, Mitsuki. We had to go find her. We couldn't just leave her behind after all.
ゆうや、どうしよう。私2階ちょっと見てきていい？美月の声が気になるんだ。遠くに行っちゃったら。
He didn't even have to say anything this time. His eyes told me the whole story. Got it. I know I can trust you with this task, they said. And that was enough for me. I shot off down the hall like a bullet. I was determined to find Mitsuki and rejoin everyone en route. I hurried down to the second floor, but Mitsuki's voice was coming from even farther down. I'd have to keep going to the first floor ahead of the others. Alright, so down to the first floor. Or are we? No, we're on the third floor right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to shoot right down. We're on the second floor. I'm on the second floor. Okay. Alright, let's try the exit. I'm guessing that other guy, he's already taken off at this point. One way or another, we're going to make it out of this school, all of us, together.
美月の声が聞こえた場所から考えると、これ以上先だと聞こえないよね。戻ってみよう。
At least the game is telling me when I'm going the wrong way. It's a thoroughly decomposed corpse. Having gone completely skeletal, it's virtually impossible to determine age or gender. Okay, so do we go this way then, maybe? Oh. If I keep running in circles like this, I'd never find her. I was in a state of panic and I was allowing it to steer my path. Frustrated with the situation, and with myself for choosing to give up and head back empty-handed, I forced myself to stop and turn. I was going to do what I should have done in the first place. Call out Mitsuki's name with everything I had in me and hope she responded.
Mitsuki! Mitsuki! どこ? みんないるよ!
No answer. Just the cold, lonely sounds of rain and wind bearing down on this old, dilapidated building. This may have been a fairly large school, but sound traveled well in here. If she were anywhere in this hallway, I'm sure she would have heard me. And if she were just here only minutes ago, she definitely should have been around now. Could something have happened to her?
Mitsuki!
Well, we know nothing happened to Mitsuki yet, because Kazami hasn't got to her. Alright, so... we keep exploring this way? Let's go this way and see. Okay, so I'm not going the right way. Alright, let's go to the exit again? Guess am I just going to go meet up with everybody and just tell them that I didn't find Mitsuki? Uh-oh. Ghost kid, ghost kid. It appears to be the ghost of a young boy. Oh, we're gonna save first because we know what happens if we look closer, but I want to get at least one bad end. Look closer. It's probably just gonna be the same thing where he just, yeah, boom. So, whenever that happens, nothing really changes. It's not really a new bad end, but I need to get all of the bad ends in order to unlock the true end, and I might as well start getting them. I have to see if there's a way for me to check and see, like, which of the bad ends I got, so I know which ones I still need to get. Alright, step away. God, what now? With a ghost sitting right at the foot of the stairs, how was I supposed to get back up to the 3rd floor? Alright, I guess we just gotta turn around and head back the other way, maybe? I can't go that way because it's blocked, I believe. Oh, here we go. What the hell was that? What had just appeared in front of me? From the looks of it, you're another victim dragged here against your will, no? Well, I'll tell you now, there's no escape from this school. There's nothing to be gained here but despair, though if you've got an iron will, you might be able to survive for a little while at least. Here, you should have this. It'll help keep the wandering spirits at bay, though it only works once. So take it, get out there and fight like hell. Stay alive as long as you possibly can. Spirit vanished, but lying on the floor below where it had been was a gemstone. Specifically, a violet-colored gemstone, probably an amethyst. So I can use it to keep the wandering spirits at bay one time, huh? I guess he means that the full-body ones, or it would have kept him at bay too. Either way, with this gem, I felt like I could actually get back to my friends safely. I was as hopeful as one could expect, all things considered. Yeah, except for the ghost literally telling you there's no escape from the school. Of course, he also said there's no escape from here, but it was my prerogative to believe what I wanted to believe and ignore what I wanted to ignore. I don't know, my thing is maybe I just don't have as strong of a will as these guys, but like if I was told it was hopeless and that, you know, you just suffer, I'd be like, part of me kind of would rather just get it over with rather than like struggle, struggle, struggle only to end up dying anyway, but I don't know. You never know how you would do in a situation like this until you're actually put into it. Alright, use the amethyst. Oh, maybe I should have tried to sneak past. Maybe that would have given me another bad end. Oh well. I held the amethyst in front of me and approached the spirit. And incredibly, it actually worked. Both the ghost and the gem faded and disappeared. The stairwell was now free to be traversed. Uh-oh. Well... Maybe Kazami's gone nuts since I left and he started killing everybody because Emmy doesn't look good. Emmy's face was absolutely wrecked with tears and she was shaking her head violently. She wanted to tell me something, but the words just weren't coming. I had a really bad feeling about this. I ran past her to the bathrooms, to where Katayama was being lifted onto Yuya's shoulders when I left. Why? Katayama was back on the floor, right where we'd set him down when this whole ordeal began. Why wasn't he on Yuya's shoulders? What was going on? I had an inkling, but I didn't want to believe it, so I pushed it out of my mind, so he's probably dead already. Yeah.
すごい声を上げてそのまま嘘。
I didn't know what else to say. A person had just died, not some stranger, but a person I knew, a friend. It was the strangest feeling. I kept looking at him and thinking, is he really dead? Is this really what a person looks like when he dies? Seeing him like that drained every last bit of energy I had in me. I fell to my knees, thoroughly defeated.
Okawa-kun, 片山くんから離れないってどうすればいいの?
Emmy and I couldn't stay near the body. We'd gone down to the second floor where we picked a corner and just stood there trying to recompose ourselves. I wonder why nobody's mentioned about, like, these guys have not been like, hey, where's that red-haired guy? I forget his name. It'd be like, why isn't he with you? I guess, like, nobody really cared about him. Yuya elected to stay with Okawa on the third floor, I guess to try and break him from his shock, and help put some distance between him and Kariyama. None of this felt real. Or maybe I just didn't want it to be real. It was a nightmare. It had to be. I'd just sit up in my bed and it would all be over.
どうしてこんなことになっちゃったんだろう。
冷めないね。おかしいな。冷めないの。さっきから夢だと思うとしてるんだけど。
瞳子。
My energy was waning again. I sank to the ground, landing on my knees. Emmy followed my lead and put an arm around me for comfort. A friend had just died. He just died. God, why? Oh, what's this? Emmy and I looked at each other. We both heard them, footsteps coming down the hall. It was too dark to make out who it was, but the gate was decidedly male. Oh shit. Maybe Kazami, maybe he took care of the two guys, and now he's coming after us. Or it could be the guy with the giant axe or the hatchet or whatever. Two of us slowly and quietly rose to our feet, hid around the corner and peeked out, both terrified and curious as to whom or what we might see. There, at the end of the hall, the figure finally came into view. It was a tallish man, unsteadily teetering as he slowly strode toward us. Is that Kazami? Is that Kazami? Oh, it's Shimada, drenched from head to toe. Oh yeah, it's the redhead guy. Oh shit. Though he went outside and obviously things didn't work out for him.
Shimada-kun! Huh?
Emmy shot forward, intending to run toward him, but I grabbed her arm and held her back without even thinking about it. She turned and looked at me with a puzzled expression.
あいつ、私無理。
え、まさか、なんかされたの？
うん。
よかった。こんな時だし、起こったことだけでも伝えておかないと。
She looked back at me again as she said this, staring right into my eyes in an almost disciplinary manner. It was the perfect guilt stare. I couldn't help but succumb to it, feeling bad for not having filled her in about the Shimada incident. But she also never asked. Maybe he's possessed. Shimada continued his slow, wet walk down the hall. Then all of a sudden, for no discernible reason, he simply fell forward, landing hard on his knees. Something was wrong with him, and while I loathed the man, I didn't want to see him suffer. Emmy and I were both poised to rush to his aid, when other figures randomly began appearing all around him. Figures of children, blue and ethereal, shimmering with their own light. Ooh. This is never good. We could barely even see Shimada from our vantage point anymore, as his body was obscured almost completely by the backs of these ghost children. Oh, are they gonna rip him apart like they did to, oh, who was it? Mayu. He wasn't moving, though, so it didn't seem like they were doing anything to him. But then, he wasn't moving at all, which seemed highly suspicious. It occurred to me that maybe we should try to save him. I inched forward. He was still in exactly the same position he had been when he fell to his knees. He literally hadn't moved at all. Was he unconscious? Emmy and I looked at one another and nodded. It was a silent signal to move forward and do whatever we could to help. Oh shit! The children vanished as we approached, revealing a horrific sight. Shimada's stomach had been flayed wide open. He was dead. Oh man, did they do that to him? Or maybe Kazami did it when Toko walked away and Shimada was showing him the knife. Maybe Kazami stabbed him. The knife he'd flaunted earlier was jutting from the wound. It was an almost ceremonial death, like that of a samurai who'd thrown himself onto his sword. Yuya, who'd presumably rushed down to see what was wrong, calmly walked over to Shimada's body, maybe because he'd done that to him so he's not surprised. He was checking for signs of respiration or pulse. He turned back to face us a moment later, and his facial expression said it all. Shimada really was dead. I was beginning to lose it. I just couldn't take any more of this. My friends and acquaintances were dying one by one. I guess I should say had died, but it didn't seem like it was over, not by a long shot. Hell, it was doing more than trying. It had already succeeded twice over. I was scared, I was paranoid, I was shaking and crying and screaming inside. I was deathly afraid that something else would show up, and then it did. What? Oh shit, Sachiko! It was a little girl in a red dress, standing between us and the third-floor staircase. I couldn't make out the expression on her face through her bangs, but I could literally feel the hatred in her eyes as she stared into our souls. Then she turned around and slid up the staircase into the third-floor hallway. Oh, she's heading for the other guy up there with his friend. Emmy was turned the other way, so she hadn't seen the girl at all. She eventually followed our gazes, but by that time, the girl was gone. She looked confused. That particular apparition looked a lot different from the other ghosts I'd seen, but there was still no doubt in my mind. She was definitely a ghost. Like, he's still showing some... Like, he's doing a good job at that outward appearance of seeming like he cares about these people. Dangerous. Well, that is the direction the girl in the red dress went, and I guess Yuya didn't want me to be put in harm's way. I nodded and watched his back recede into the darkness as he chased after Emmy. Ooh. Did Sachiko get to them, or did Kazami? What was going on? Why was Emmy screaming? I could hear voices now. Emmy and Okawa were having a heated argument. Oh shit, okay. Leave him and run. We'll get caught. That ghost girl must have been pursuing them. Oh, murderer. Oh, here it comes, here it comes. I mean, we knew it was gonna happen. I'm kind of excited now. This is when it's gonna get interesting. This is when the veneer is wiped away and he shows his true self. Kadayama's body was sprawled unceremoniously on the landing halfway up the 3rd floor, along with Okawa. At the top of the stairs stood Emi, and in front of her, Yuya, with an imposing scowl on his face. I didn't understand any of this. What had just happened? Well, wasn't he already dead? Why is he calling him a murderer? Emi let out another scream and came running toward me down the stairs. Okawa then seemed as if he'd fallen and broken his arm. Oh, maybe he got pushed by Kazami, but, he's still calling him a murderer. Maybe it's because, this guy is in denial that his friend's already dead, so did, Kazami push him down the stairs? And now he's just like, you're a murderer. It's like, no, your friend was already dead. He was lopsidedly crawling toward me. It was almost as if he were trying to distance himself from Yuya. Well, at least now he realizes his friend is dead. Snapped him out of it a bit. I ran to the base of the stairs to meet up with Emi. I needed some sort of context here.
Emi! Nani? どうしたの?
逃げろ殺されるぞ
Okay. I glanced up at Yuya, but his face was shrouded in darkness. I couldn't make out any expression at all. So did he kick this guy, the dead guy, or did he kick Okawa? Okawa seemed to have reached his breaking point. He shot to his feet and took off behind me towards the 2nd floor as fast as he could. Yuya kicked Okawa down the stairs? Why?
嘘でしょ
Slowly, he walked down to the landing. He was neither concerned nor scornful. His face was a blank slate. As soon as he reached my level, he bent down and began fiddling with Kadayama's body. Raising the arms and letting them drop, wiping blood from the ears and nose, then looking at it as if studying a specimen under a microscope. Yep, here we go. Maybe the darkening finally got to him. What the hell? He was enjoying this. I finally got to see an emotion written clearly on his face, and it was elation. How was this not some crazy dream? Tears began spilling from my eyes like water. I was shocked, confused, and I don't even know what else. She's like, I have terrible taste in men, apparently. Emi and I found ourselves standing in front of the door to the school infirmary, which we'd be able to get into if it wasn't for the Shimada guy.
島田が抜いてなくしちゃったんだよね。
こんなとこ逃げ込んで、もし見つかったら終わりだよ。下に逃げよう。
They're probably gonna go to the 1st floor, try and go to the exit. Now it's gonna be locked up like it always is. The poor girl was frantic. I can't say I blamed her, but, well, something about this whole situation just didn't feel right to me.
やっぱり私信じられない。何が？ユーヤがあんな優しいユーヤが違うことするなんて。
Oh no. Talk about rose-colored glasses. Jeez.
だって本当に蹴り落としたのよ。
There's been studies that show that people think that attractive people are more likely to have positive personality traits, and this is like a clear example of this. She's just like, she's so blinded by her crush on him. She's just like, no, that's not the man I know. And Emi was there, and Toko wasn't. With that, Emi pushed me out of the way and ran past me toward the stairwell leading to the 1st floor. That's the smartest thing that's been done so far this chapter. And off she went. I was now separated from every one of my friends. But was I really in danger? I mean, I was, but from Yuya? That just didn't seem right. Oh my god, don't tell me she's gonna go back to him and like talk to him and be like, I want to get your side of the story. Or more likely, I didn't want it to be. I wanted to believe this was all a misunderstanding. My legs were shaking and my head was swimming. I just stood there, unsure of where I should go or what I should do. I mean, look at that face. Look at that face. And then there he was, right behind me. And in his hands was Shimada's huge knife, the one that was last seen jutting from Shimada's stomach. It was still dripping with blood. And are you really still going to believe he's not capable of the stuff after that? This definitely made matters more complicated. Yeah. How could I doubt Yuya's guilt when he was holding something like that? Why did he even have it? How could he possibly bring himself to pull a knife from his friend's lifeless corpse? But I wasn't going to run. I turned around and I braced myself. I opened my mouth, intent on discussing this rationally. Girl, I'm sorry to say, but like all the bad stuff that's probably about to happen to you, I'm just like, oh, you're kind of bringing it on yourself. If I ran away now, I felt like it would all be over. There would be nothing left to save, no one left to trust. But what could I possibly say to him? Oh shit, okay, we're gonna save. Okay, let's, oh my god, are you alright? I'll just come out right and say it. Why did you do it?
Yuya. 信じられないよ。どうして?
My body was still visibly shuddering and my voice was breaking. I'd unconsciously taken an accusatory tone with him, which was not at all what I wanted, but it was too late to take it back now. I'd hoped he didn't notice, but he did. As soon as the word why slipped from my lips, his eyes glazed over. Oh no. It was as if all the warmth and compassion I'd seen there before was tapped and drained, leaving behind nothing more than an empty container. Oh boy, he's just like, nobody believes me, I have no allies. But it's like, come on, dude. Uh-oh. That might not have been the right choice. I mean, I feel like this girl is gonna die no matter what. Then he just started muttering to himself and slowly walked right past me as if I weren't even there.
Yuya! 待ってよ! 何持ってるのそれ?
使えそうだ。いろいろ。
やめて! 捨ててよ!
No, I couldn't let this go on. I grabbed him by the arm and just clung to him, putting my full weight on his body to keep him from going any farther down the hallway. He was at a crossroads, about to walk down a path of no return, and I wasn't going to let lose the kind, considerate Yuya I'd fallen for. Unfortunately, the only tools I had at my disposal from stopping him were my feelings, and those just weren't going to be enough. Yeah, especially because like he doesn't seem to understand human feelings, so a little bit of a disadvantage. Oh! I was so startled that it took me a moment before I'd even figured out what happened. That was the first time in my entire life that I'd ever been punched in the head, and he put everything he had into it. I couldn't focus. My brain was still rattling inside my skull from the impact. The world was spinning. I looked up at him with spasmodic, twitchy, tear-filled eyes. There was no sign of remorse or compassion whatsoever. He looked like a feudal warrior clutching his sword and staring down at his enemy. The area all around my eye was throbbing. It hurt so badly and felt so swollen and sore. I couldn't even imagine what it must have looked like. And he wasn't done with me. He got in closer and closer, grinning unnaturally as he raised his fist for a second strike. Damn. Ooh, okay. Yeah, see, Emmy was a smart one. She made some distance. I was running on pure instinct and adrenaline at this point. I shot to my feet and just forced them to carry me to safety. Somewhere. Anywhere. He was going to kill me. He was really going to kill me. I felt something rattling around uncomfortably inside my mouth, so I spit it out into my hand. It was white. Oh, right, because this chapter is called Tooth. A single white tooth with blood-red highlights at its root. That maniac had actually knocked out one of my teeth. He was there, just behind me. I panicked, tripping over my own feet and stumbling to the ground on the landing between the first and second floor. Fallen on my backside, dropping my tooth on the ground next to me, I began slinking away from the encroaching figure of Yuya Kazami. Save me, somebody, anybody, God, please. I was scooting backwards across the floor too, stiff, sore, and scared to stand. But then my hand brushed against something small and metallic. A key. Oh, there we go. I mean, I don't know how much it's gonna help her. Even with my hand right over it, I was shaking so badly that I could barely work my fingers to get a grip. It was the most frustrating feeling in the world, and for a few seconds that felt like hours, I just kept trying in vain to pick up that damn key. Finally, I slipped my finger through the ring. I had it. This was my one and only chance. Scrambling to my feet, I somehow slipped past Yuya, and ran back up to the second floor as fast as I could force my shaky legs to carry me. I had the key. I could lock myself in. I could hide in the infirmary. Kazami didn't pursue, not right away. He just stood there, staring. Staring at the tooth I dropped on the ground. Staring intently, as if trying to make out what he was seeing.
Haka.
Ooh! Ew! Ew! No! 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 Oh, I hate it. Oh! Ew! All the noises. Oh my god! No! 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 I hate, like, chewing noises, but knowing what he's chewing. Ooh! Oh, that's so disgusting. I was just like, ugh. That might be one of the grossest things I've seen in this game yet. It's just like, there's been so many crazy things that have happened, but just the idea of a guy chewing a tooth. No. Ooh. Oh, dude, you are fucked. He's right up there with Shig. I mean, he's worse than Shig, but... Ugh. There didn't seem to be any way to lock the door from the inside. Oh, well, goddammit, he's gonna find her eventually. I needed to find a hiding place before Yuya showed up. The corner of the room? Under the bed, maybe? I was scanning every inch of the room as quickly as possible, sizing up my surroundings. My eye stopped on one of the medicine shelves. Scissors. There are scissors in there. Felt like such a revelation, like the answer I was looking for. But what was I going to do with scissors? Was I going to fight? Fight who? Yuya? I wouldn't stand a chance. I decided to leave them there, stepped back and crouched down behind the partition screen that was set up in the middle of the room. Oh, okay, are we having a flashback to everything that happened before Toko came back? Oh my gosh. Urabe had run back to the bathrooms on the third floor to warn Okawa about the imminent threat that was approaching. Unsurprisingly, he was still crouched on the ground, cradling Kariyama's lifeless head in his arms. And he was still stubbornly insistent that if he were to leave that spot, he'd have to carry Kariyama with him. What a stubborn, foolish man. I'd had enough. I decided I'd rip Kariyama's body from Okawa's arms and kick it down the stairs. Okay, so this is from Kazami's point of view. It made one hell of a thud when it hit the landing, but he was already dead, so what did it matter? As long as it helped get Okawa moving, I didn't care. Now, alright, I like seeing from the inside of his head his thought process. See? Look, he's dead, so get your ass off the floor and run.
目を覚ませ。片山はもう死んでいる。早くここから逃げるんだ。
Urabe was looking at me, then at Kariyama's body, then back at me as if she couldn't make up her mind what was more interesting. But why was she looking at me? Did I have something on my face? It is interesting to see his point of view, like why in other people's minds that wouldn't be kind of fucked up to like just kick your dead friend's body down the stairs. In his mind, he's like, well, I'm helping. Okawa, on the other hand, was focused squarely on Kariyama. He was trembling all over, but I thought he finally understood. Then he turned toward me. Okay, so that's what I thought, is he thought that he had, because he was in denial that he was actually dead. He yelled like a madman and ran towards the stairs, ran down the stairs towards his friend's body. He wasn't exactly in his right mind, however, so those last few steps didn't quite go as planned. He tripped and fell quite hard next to Kariyama. Okay, so Kazami actually didn't push him down the stairs. Okay, so I gotta give Toko a little bit of credit in that she was right about that. Emi was wrong, so technically Kazami didn't push him down the stairs. And is that why he was kind of upset with Toko when Toko was like, why did you do that? And he's just like, oh, you too? Because it's like nobody believes that he didn't actually do that. Kazami's just like, why is everybody making such a fuss?
Emi! Nani? どうしたの?
Murderer? Who, me? I wasn't the one who killed Kariyama. I see. In here. Getting killed by the school and getting killed by me are one and the same. We're all going to die here either way after all. Oh wow, that was the moment. Shit. That was the moment where he's just like, alright, let's that freak flag fly. Wait, that's it? What? That's the last chapter too, isn't it? That can't be it. What? Oh my gosh, it is, I think. I mean, it's not the end because I still have to get the quote-unquote true ending, but wow, okay, that's... I wasn't expecting to finish this up today. Okay, wow. I gotta say, like, I thought that there was gonna be a little bit more happy endings, but I guess I have to get all the bad endings first in order to unlock maybe a quote-unquote good ending. And, yeah, they definitely focused not as much on the main cast as I thought they were going to. Like, there was definitely a lot of focus on the minor characters that were introduced briefly in the first game, I guess to kind of expand their characters a little bit. But, like, man, oh man, there's still so much that I would have liked to know about the main cast. But that just makes me excited to get that true end and, like, see what happens there. You know, see if we can get a good ending for them and try and get everybody out alive. I'm curious about that true end, like how long that's going to be. Like, overall, I liked it. I just, it was really depressing, just, like, thinking that I was going to try and change fate because some of the characters, like, had premonitions or memories of what happened to them the first time they went into the school. Especially, like, Naomi, who tried to change fate and save Seiko, and then things just ended up also going wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna see if I can unlock all of the bad ends and then get the true end. See if I can do that by next week and just put that all into one video. If I can't, I might either do a two-parter and then release some next week and then the rest the week after, or I might delay it a week and then just have it all be... I think preferably I would like it to be all in one video. So I'm gonna try my damnedest to get it all done the same time, you know, Monday of next week. But if that doesn't happen, then I will post it the week after. So are we at least gonna get like some post-credit scenes or anything? I guess not? Okay. Alright, well, I guess that before we do that, we did unlock some soulful testimonies, so let's go ahead and let's check those out. Hey, here we go. I am glad that we unlocked this one because, yeah, this guy is his character is crazy, but man, he's got a nice voice. And I was like, I would have liked to get a testimony from him, but I'm glad we got one.
はい、刻み優也役の杉田智和です。最近ですね、お風呂の電灯のスイッチをポチッて入れたらパーンと吹っ飛びましてですね、ダークネス風呂になっちゃったの。でも一応部屋の明かりがあるから本当の意味での暗闇ではなかったってね。まあ考えてみれば頭洗ってる時とか目閉じるし、ダークネス風呂もいいかななんてね。
What?
これが入ってみたら楽しい。
He's just talking about
ちょ
taking
う
a
ど入
bath?
浴剤の色が真っ赤だったんだね。これがさらに、そうか、ジップロックっぽい、まずいな、今ピーってなったな。ビニールで閉じられる袋のあれにゲーム機を入れてコープスをやればいいんだよ。誰だってそうする。俺だってそうする。
What? What? That's it? Okay. That was one of the stranger ones.
浦部恵美役を務めさせていただきました森谷さとみです。お疲れ様です。今回も前作に引き続き恵美ちゃんを担当させていただけて本当に嬉しいです。嬉しいんですがこのコープスパーティーの台本はうちで台本チェックをしている時からもう怖くてあらゆる音にもう敏感になっちゃってそんな状態だったんですけれども、さらになんか今回台本読んでたら別の方のセリフでなんかあれだけあいつが釘刺してたのに俺はみたいなセリフがあったんですけど、釘刺すみたいな、そういうところにまでなんか火みたいななんか全然関係ないところにまでビクビクしながら台本を読んでおりました。はい。収録を終えてですね、まあエミちゃん以外にもりょうくんとあとカナちゃんと演じさせていただいたんですが、いやーもうエミちゃんは特に叫びまくりました本当にもう今まで叫んだことがないぐらい叫びました。はい。いやーあとこれでもかっていうぐらい幽霊で笑いました。なんかどっちもエネルギーが必要なんだなって改めて思いました。はい、楽しく演じさせていただきました。ぜひぜひまあこれを聞いてくださってるっていうことはですね、作品をやってくださったのかな、これからかな、わからないんですけれども、はい、ぜひ恐怖を楽しんでください。はい、ありがとうございました。
So it seems like the testimonies are either like the people talking about going into like a very weird way, like the guy who did Yuya's voice, or it's people talking about like how scared they were reading the script and also kind of giving some backstory into like their process of doing the voice acting. It seems like those are the two ways it goes with these.
コープスパーティーをお楽しみの皆さん、コンプリートおめでとうございます。桐崎瞳子役の吉田聖子です。今収録が終わりまして酸欠になりながらすっごい今フラフラしてるんですけど、無事に終わりました。私はもうホラーだけはどうしても自分の中で見たりプレイするっていうことができなくて、こうなんか台本をいただいた時に自分で演じて想像してるだけでももうなんか眠れなかったりとかすごいこうあってて、なんかもう早く終わらないかなと思いながらやってました。なのでこのコープスパーティーをプレイされてる皆さんは恐怖を楽しむことができる方たちなんだろうなと思います。私の友達にもなんかホラーが大好きな子がいるんですけど、その子はやっぱりそのゾクゾクする感覚というか、それがこう楽しいと言っているので、私はまだその境地には至れないなと思いました。残念ながら私はまだプレイできてないんですけれども、この、台本を読んでいてこのコープスパーティーは、シナリオがすごく丁寧に作られているなと感じました。なのでこのコープスパーティーは選択肢によってこう分岐点があって未来が変わったりとかルートが違ったり、するゲームなので、ぜひ全て攻略して、やり尽くしてコープスパーティーの世界を楽しんでみてください。ありがとうございます。
That's another thing, is just it seems that a lot of people who do voice acting for horror games are not a big fan of horror games or get scared easily. Alright, so that will wrap up the main story, at least, of Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Like I said, I'm going to try and see if I can get all the bad ends and the true end done by next week. So keep an eye out for that. It might be delayed if I'm not able to get it done in time, but I hope you guys are looking forward to that. It's going to be a little bit of a slog, because I don't know how many bad ends I still have to get, but I'm gonna try my damnedest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned for the actual finale of Corpse Party Book of Shadows. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Nana, Sparky, Dumbass Loser, Tequila Mockingbird, Puncake G, Derek Nickel, Harry Gazif, Asborn Kennedy, and Icognito.